the United Kingdom's approach to immigration is about to undergo a significant transformation. Immigration rules are the official policies that determine who can come to the UK to live, work, or study. These regulations are vital as they shape the country's economy, public services, and cultural landscape. They aim to balance the need for skilled individuals from around the world with the government's goal of developing the domestic workforce. For anyone considering a future in the UK, understanding these rules is absolutely essential, as they dictate the very possibility of making that move and building a new life. On the 22nd of July, 2025, a new set of rules will come into force, representing what the government has called a complete reset of its immigration policy. These changes, first outlined in a government white paper, are designed to create a more selective system, prioritizing individuals with higher-level skills and qualifications. The core idea is to reduce overall migration numbers while ensuring that the UK continues to attract what it defines as the brightest and best global talent. This shift will have far-reaching consequences for prospective migrants, their families, and the UK businesses that rely on international recruitment to fill crucial vacancies across many sectors. The fundamental principle driving these reforms is a focus on higher value and higher skills. The government's stated intention is to encourage employers to invest more in training and upskilling the resident UK population, thereby reducing long-term reliance on overseas labour for certain roles. This marks a clear pivot away from previous policies that accommodated a broader range of skill levels. As we will explore, these changes are not just minor adjustments, they are a fundamental restructuring of the criteria for entering the UK for work, impacting thousands of people and hundreds of occupations previously open to them. These new regulations are not being introduced in isolation. They are part of a broader phased strategy that will see further changes later in the year, including potential increases to the immigration skills charge paid by employers and new requirements for English language ability. For now, the focus is on the immediate changes taking effect this July. Understanding what is happening, who is affected, and what steps need to be taken is critical for anyone whose life or business is connected to the UK's immigration system. The next few sections will break down these complex changes into clear, understandable parts. One of the most significant changes is the increase in the minimum skill level required for a skilled worker visa. Previously, jobs that were equivalent to A-level standard, known as RQF Level 3, were eligible for sponsorship. From the 22nd of July, 2025, this threshold will be raised to RQF Level 6, which is the equivalent of a university graduate level. This is a substantial jump that immediately removes over 100 different occupations from eligibility for the main skilled worker route. Roles in sectors like hospitality, construction, and certain administrative positions that were previously open to overseas workers will now be closed to new applicants. Alongside the skills uplift, salary requirements are also increasing. For a new applicant on a general skilled worker visa, the minimum salary they must be paid will rise from £38,700 to £41,700 per year. Even those who entered the UK on a visa before April 2024 will face a higher threshold when they need to renew, with their minimum salary requirement increasing from £29,000 to £31,300. This means that even if a worker is in a role that still meets the new RQF 6 skills level, their employer must be able to pay them the new higher rate for their visa to be approved or extended. There are some transitional arrangements in place to soften the immediate impact. For example, if a worker already holds a skilled worker visa or had their certificate of sponsorship assigned by their employer before the 22nd of July, 2025 deadline, they can continue in their RQF 3 to 5 level job. They will be able to extend their visa, switch to another eligible employer, and even apply for settlement, as long as they meet the relevant salary rules. However, this protection does not apply to new applicants from overseas, who will be subject to the stricter RQF 6 requirement from day one. For a family hoping to move to the UK, these changes create new hurdles. For instance, a skilled chef from Italy, whose job is classified at RQF Level 3, would have been eligible for a skilled worker visa before the changes. Now, under the new rules, this route is closed to them as the role does not meet the RQF 6 graduate level threshold. They would only be able to come if their specific role was placed on a special shortage list, and even then, as we will see, new restrictions on bringing family members might apply, making the move much more difficult. The health and social care sector, which has historically relied heavily on international recruitment, faces some of the most profound changes. The most dramatic of these is the closure of the visa route for care workers and senior care workers to new overseas applicants. From the 22nd of July 2025, UK care providers will no longer be able to sponsor and recruit these essential workers directly from other countries. This is a significant policy shift aimed at compelling the sector to focus on recruiting and training staff from within the UK, but it raises immediate concerns about staffing levels in a sector already facing critical shortages. For care workers who are already in the UK on this visa route, there is a transitional period. They will be able to extend their current visa, switch to a different care employer, or apply to settle in the UK, with this arrangement lasting until at least the 22nd of July 2028. This provides a degree of security for those already contributing to the UK's care system. However, it effectively shuts the door for their colleagues abroad who may have been planning to follow them. This change will likely place immense pressure on care homes and domiciliary care providers to find new ways to fill their staff rotas. Furthermore, the new RQF 6 skills threshold has an impact on other roles within the wider healthcare system. Occupations such as dental nurses, ambulance staff, excluding paramedics, and certain medical technicians are classified below this new graduate level. As these roles are not included on the new shortage occupation lists, they will no longer be eligible for sponsorship under the health and care visa for new applicants. Hospitals and clinics will therefore need to find alternative domestic recruitment strategies for these vital support roles, which could prove challenging in the short term. To illustrate the impact on families, consider a dental nurse from the Philippines who had planned to move to the UK with her partner and child. Before the rule changes, her profession was eligible for sponsorship. After the 22nd of July 2025, her RQF Level 3 qualification no longer meets the new RQF 6 requirement. Because dental nursing is not on a shortage list, the path for her to work in the UK is now closed. This not only affects her family's plans, but also means a UK dental practice loses a potential skilled employee, highlighting the personal and professional consequences of these new regulations. For UK employers, particularly those who hold a sponsor license, immediate action is required to navigate these complex changes. The first step is to conduct a thorough audit of their current and planned international workforce. They must identify which employees might be affected by the increased skill and salary thresholds. If an employer intends to sponsor a new worker in a role that will become ineligible after the 22nd of July 2025, they should aim to assign a certificate of sponsorship before that deadline. A certificate of sponsorship is valid for 3 months, meaning an application submitted with it will be assessed under the old rules. Employers must also begin long-term strategic planning. For roles that are being removed from eligibility, such as care workers or dental nurses, companies need to develop robust domestic recruitment and training programs. This could involve creating more apprenticeships, partnering with local colleges, and investing in initiatives to make these careers more attractive to the UK workforce. Relying on the old ways of international recruitment is no longer a viable strategy for these occupations, and a failure to adapt could lead to significant operational difficulties and staff shortages down the line. For individuals and their families, staying informed is paramount. If you are already in the UK on a work visa, you should check how the new salary thresholds might affect your future extension applications. If you are planning to come to the UK, you must verify that your occupation meets the new RQF6 skill level and that your prospective salary meets the higher £41,700 threshold. It is also crucial to understand the new restrictions on bringing dependents or family members if your job is on a temporary shortage list, as this could fundamentally alter your plans. In summary, the 2025 immigration rules represent a seismic shift, creating a more restrictive but higher-skilled immigration system. The changes demand proactive engagement from all parties involved. For the most accurate and detailed guidance, individuals and employers should always consult the official UK government website at gov.uk. For complex cases, seeking advice from a regulated immigration advisor is highly recommended to ensure you can navigate this new landscape correctly. The coming months will be a critical period of adjustment for many, and being prepared is the best way to manage the transition.